It's being called Punjab's own dreaded blasphemy law. When the state government's cabinet cleared amendments to Section 295 of the IPC on Tuesday, which deals with causing hurt to religious groups, they were essentially taking the existing law across the country, which has a 3-year punishment, and made it into a dreaded law which will carry life imprisonment. The law, which will be introduced in the Punjab Assembly soon, says sacrilege of holy books will be punishable by life imprisonment, and it sounds scarily similar to next door neighbor Pakistan's reviled blasphemy law, which says that the defiling or insult of the Quran will be punishable by death. But Punjab government insists that this is just a deterrent. They say that Punjab has really suffered from militancy, which was started off by communal tension, and so they need to have this stringent law. They also point out the instances of tension in 2015, when the first instance of desecration of the Guru Granth Sahib was reported, and it was followed by 7 incidents of sacrilege of the Guru Granth Sahib in October that year. And that was followed by massive protests across several districts for days. So much so that 2 people were killed in police firing, and the Kabaddi World Cup scheduled to be held in Punjab that year was cancelled. And that was what made desecration a major issue in the state elections last year as well. And that's what made the previous Akali government in the state introduce the sacrilege bill in 2016. The only difference between that bill and this bill is that their bill only related to sacrilege of the Guru Granth Sahib and not all holy books as it is now. So at that time, the centre objected to the amendment specific to the holy book of one religion, and at that time the Punjab BJP had also backed the law and wanted reference to images of gods to be included in it. So this time round, Amrinder Singh's cabinet has made those changes and made it about sacrilege to all faiths, and they'll be introducing it in assembly soon. But this has led to an outpouring of outrage from civil society and even some politicians outside the state too, because blasphemy laws, according to the US Commission of Religious Freedom, is used to suppress minorities, and report after report have seen this in countries like Iran, Pakistan, Somalia and Yemen. The other fears are that it will be used by the government to silence any kind of dissenters, any kind of critics, and by individuals to settle personal disputes. They also fear that extremists will use this law to justify any kind of attacks on minorities. Already, we've seen the existing Section 295 with just few years of imprisonment being misused. For example, if a comedian makes a joke about some cult, then the cult's followers can say he's caused hurt to their sentiments. And in fact, once Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan were summoned to court for wearing shoes in a scene which looked like it was a temple. All the protests about movies like Jodha Akbar, etc., all relate to this particular provision. So when it is strengthened many times over, imagine the harm it can do. And that's what we're here to talk about. And so joining me in studio from the Congress, we have Adil Singh Boparai. Now what's interesting is, even in the fractious politics of Punjab, we see other parties backing them. So from the Aam Aadmi Party, an MLA from Punjab, we have H.S. Pulka. We also have criminal lawyer Sherbir Panag joining us from Mumbai, and independent journalist Simran Sodhi is here as well. So the first instance that I need to just talk about, and Adil Boparai come in over here, that this law which is being introduced in assembly very short while from now, it needs the centre to give its assent to it. So do you expect it to be passed soon? It looks like it's going to be passed very easily in assembly. But do you expect it to be passed by the centre soon?
Well, yes, absolutely, because the BJP government came out with a defective law, but essentially on the same lines in 2016. But let me make a point on the larger issue today. Your freedom of speech or expression does not extend to hurting religious feelings. This is a basic tenet of law, point number 1. Point number 2, you have to go through the objectives of this particular amendment. We seek to curb incidents of desecration. We seek to impose a deterrent value. We seek to ensure communal harmony and strengthen the legal regime.
But what about all the fears that I mentioned right now?
No, I think these fears are misplaced. Please
what
understand.
What about the fact that even when there are just 2 years or 3 years imprisonment, that there are so many instances of misuse?
Well, Sunitra ji, this particular amendment extends to desecration of religious texts. So the example given by you, if let's say a comedian makes a show, etc., that doesn't apply. Penal provisions have to be given strict literal interpretation. So going by that, only if there is a desecration of a religious text will 295AA be invoked. Point number 2. Point number 3, please understand, in 2015-2016, there were hundreds of incidents of desecration of the Guru Granth Sahib and the Holy Quran in Malerkotla. So therefore, keeping that in mind, the state has come out with a legislation, with an amendment to ensure that communal harmony is maintained. I don't think anybody should have any kind of misplaced fear. The point is only if there is desecration of religious texts. To take it to a certain analogy, saying that let's say if somebody, a comedian or a satirist, posts something that would invoke this provision is absolutely wrong.
Okay, you're saying it can't be because it's just religious text, but Sherbir Panag, we have various people, we have groups which look at this and say any kind of blasphemy law, any kind of sacrilege law like the one that Punjab is proposing is the one which is really open to abuse. It's usually used by the state to attack minorities. How would you counter what Adil Bopara is saying?
Well, Sudhitra, I think we need to look at it from a couple of angles. I think first things first, as far as blasphemy laws are concerned, we've had several members of civil society as far back as Lala Lajpat Rai in 1927 in the then Punjab Assembly raising this issue that blasphemy laws are likely to reduce the amount of critique pertaining to religious texts, interpretation, scholarly work, so on and so forth. Coming to the instant matter, 295A has had a very checkered jurisprudence as far as the country is concerned. We've had the Supreme Court taking various sides on this position, but we sort of were coming towards a, probably from a jurisprudential perspective, we're coming to a more clearer nexus between what was expected from the section, what would fall within its contours and what doesn't. When we come to 295AA, the 3 thresholds they've mentioned, I completely agree with Aditya when he mentions that penal provisions should be given strict interpretation, but you have the aspect of injury, damage or sacrilege. And the broader aspect of hurting religious feelings. In a country where we really wear our religious sentiments on our sleeves, and I'd say I'd go beyond the sleeves to say on the cuff of our sleeves, we would, religious feelings as such is an extremely amorphous concept for a penal law to have. And a concept, the burden of proof for which is going to be fluid, is going to be ever-changing, is going to be subject to a significant amount of social interpretation. And I think therein lies a fundamental issue on the potential impact that this would have towards our institutions, the executive and the judiciary, when implementing and interpreting this. Blasphemy laws, empirically, whether you look at Pakistan or Iran, as you cited, have had a very checkered past in terms of what they have actually achieved. The fact again being that laws like this, and especially when it comes to life imprisonment, get considered with limited recourse to empirical evidence is, I think, a major deficit to the manner of lawmaking that the government in Punjab has espoused here.
So Mr. Phulka, how would you then, when we have what Sherbir is saying is what a lot of people who have just heard the provisions are saying as well, and they point out various studies. The 2017 global rankings on blasphemy law says just this, that it's open to abuse. Then how can you, who has been, you've been a human rights lawyer, you fought for the rights of victims over there, back something like this, when you know how easily these kind of laws can be abused?
I think those who are criticizing it has not read it, or they have not understood it. This is not enhancing the punishment from 3 years to life imprisonment, no. This is a different provision altogether, though it is an aggravated form of 295A.
Yeah, that's what the press release says as well.
But insult to religion is not there in this. Insult to the Granth is not there in 295A. 295A talks about only three things, that is injury and damage. Injury and damage. Now, it is not those who say that it interferes in the freedom, it does not, it is a different provision. It is not enhancing the 295A to life imprisonment, it is not.
But it talks about amending those, sir.
295A it says the insult to the religion,
right,
which is much more wider. If you say anything, that's a different
So,
thing.
are you saying that this can't
Here,
be abused? Here, they are saying very clearly, sir, it says that people can make up cases.
It is only assumptions.
They can
It
say
is totally assumption. Give an example. Give a single example.
We haven't had these laws,
no.
So I can't give you
the cases which have been registered since 2015, there has been number of cases. There has been cases of damage and injury caused to Guru Granth Sahib. There has been cases of tearing of the Quran, and in those cases have been registered. And it isn't for those cases only. It is just an assumption.
Okay,
it's
so
only an assumption. And
okay,
I tell you, let me also say,
yeah,
when the whole of the Punjab, the people of Punjab, the legislators of Punjab know this, what is the situation in Punjab. When I was the leader of opposition, I had demanded from the government that the objections which have been raised by the centers had given the suggestion,
yeah,
that those should be incorporated.
Right.
Now those have been incorporated in it. All four Granths, Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
That
you're limiting it to just an
if
insult to the Guru Granth Sahib.
If a person says he has a freedom right to go and tear off the Bhagavad Gita, that's nonsense.
Okay, Sherbir, I want you to just think about an instance of how this could be misused. But I just want to, while you think about that, Simran Sodhi, everyone says if you're criticizing it, and if you're a liberal sitting in Delhi and you're criticizing it, you don't know the ground situation in Punjab, which is why I want you as a journalist to explain to us what is it that's happening there that has made all the parties come together to bring in this law.
See, I think the reason all the political parties are together, this is a very smart way of taking the spotlight away from the real issues of the Punjab. In Punjab, no one's talking of religion. I'm from Punjab. I've lived there. I've grown up there. I'm in Delhi now. But Punjab is where I'm from. And let me state it very clearly. Religion is not our problem. I'm also a Sikh. I would find it very offensive if somebody tore the pages of the Guru Granth Sahib. But do I want that person to be behind bars for life? Of course not. I think that is making Punjab
So what are they trying to take the attention away from?
From the real problems of Punjab, which is unemployment among the youth, which is the drug problem. All the political parties, you had the Akalis before, and it was such a mess, the state. And then Amrinder Singh came to power. His main reason, the plank on which he won the elections was that you will give jobs to the youth. You will do something about the drug issue. He hasn't done anything.
True. Yeah.
Why is no one talking of these things? Ask for a report card from the Amrinder Singh government. What have you done?
And this is something which is emotive, which will appeal to some people?
Which will appeal to the people,
okay,
which they can go back to the elections and say that, oh, we care for the Panth. I am a Sardarni, let me say it. For us, jobs are more important in Punjab. This is a very religious issue which might get them votes, but this is not the right thing to do. They are using religion as a vote bank.